activities that any human being is accustomed to, whether it's grooming, dressing, feeding as well, that all comes under ADLs. And also their hobbies as well, walking, enjoying a book, music, performing art, all right? So by the end of this topic, you should be able to develop and implement personalized plans for activities of daily living. Personalized plans. We talked about this when we talked about care center plans. Okay. So this unit will be diving in depth into understanding how a care plan actually is being tailored around the preferences, the references, and personal experiences of your client. Also being able to define the functionality and the capacity in terms of the ADL. Functionality and capacity is basically how is the capacity of your client being able to contribute to, are they independent in performing these ADLs, activities of daily living, or do they need assistance? And the categories of assistance do they need supervision? Do they need a hands-on or full-on, full-on help, right? Also, you should be able to support older adults in maintaining independence in their daily functions for as long as possible. Okay, provide appropriate assistance, such as environmental modifications, assistive devices, or physical aid to help clients with ADLs. Modifications, basically, what can you change in your environment that can create a more safe and nurturing environment for your clients to thrive in? Removing of hazardous or dangerous equipment that may cause your client injuries. Okay, so modifying, okay, environmental modifications, assistive devices, okay, physical aid. Do they need bar handles? Do they need crutches? Okay, wherever you see, okay, that goes under your observation as a caregiver. Okay, identifying and explaining types of importance of instrumental living, recognizing the causes of undernutrition in older adults. We've already covered this already when we talked about the lymphatic system. We talked about the nutritional diet. Okay, and we're just going through the causes and the effects that causes undernutrition, which we all know at this rate, since we've completed module 2, what causes an adult to be undernourished, okay? The consequences of undernutrition, and describing oral health issues that may impact nutritional status of older adults. So by the end of this unit, you're supposed to be able to tick all these boxes, okay? All right, okay, so when we move on, providing personal care services. Now, this is a definition of a caregiver, one who provides personal care, support, and assistance to another person. A person who basically provides personal care, support, and assistance to another individual, helping them with daily tasks and ensuring their well-being. Client and residents, the focus of the care team and the person who needs assistance, who is receiving the care from the caregivers, is your client / resident. Okay, personal care, okay, that includes all of the tasks that are insured in the client resident service plan. The list of personal care services includes ambulation, dressing, housework, positioning, toileting, wood supply, bathing, eating, meal preparation, self-medication, transfer, body care, essential shopping, personal hygiene, supervision, travel, and travel to medical service. So that is the personal care that you provide for your client. Okay, those are the tasks that every caregiver should be able to accomplish while looking after their client. So expect part of these, expect this as your checklist, okay? Something that you have to check within a week, okay? Yes, you have to take them for toileting. That's an everyday thing. Okay, ambulation is an everyday. Ambulation is the movement of your client from the bed to wheelchair and wheelchair back to bed. Okay, any form of mobility issues, ambulation is a form of assisting your client to shifting them from place to place. Dressing is an everyday thing that is a quite of everybody. Okay, not just your client, but yourself. So those are some of the personal care techniques that you will be providing for your clients. Level of assistance. Earlier on, I had talked about your clients and their vulnerability. So depending on their conditions that they're under, depends on how much service you can provide, whether it's minimum, okay, substantial, or total, all right? So as you can see, the level of assistance has been broken down to 3 levels. Minimum, okay? The client needs prompting reminders and standby support. They can still be independent. They can still take themselves to the toilet, showers, but they're just forgetful, okay? They could be either on the first stage of Alzheimer's as well. So they would just need a minimal type of supervision, okay? Just friendly reminders that, hey, you have a doctor's report, you need to take your medication, and that's all, okay? Such adults are very independent in some cases and just need check-ins, okay? You don't really have to, you're not really required to live in with them. They're more independent. Therefore, they just need a checkup, like regular checkups, depending on the schedules that they're under, okay? Substantial, okay, the client resident needs hands-on assistance, okay? The client requires hands-on help, basically with all the activities, okay? All the ADLs that is required, okay? So substantial is a midsection between minimal and total is when the caregiver must perform the task entirely for the client. Everything, okay, everything is provided, whether it's feeding, okay. Mostly caregivers at a minimum state, they just do meal preps and reminders, okay, provide the meals, and they're able to feed themselves, okay, they're able to do the activities, normal activities. But at total, you are required to meal prep. You are required to feed them, bathe them, groom them, okay? So what you do is important, okay? Providing personal care services is an important caregiving responsibility. By providing personal care services with care and respect, you can offer comfort and a sense of well-being to your client/resident. How you provide personal care, it is important as what you do. It is very important to talk with the person you are assisting. They are the ones receiving the service and need to be a very active part of deciding how things are done. Okay, communication. We talked about this in effective communication. All right. We also had a group discussion that it is more non-verbal than verbal types of communication, because the attention span diminishes. So in order to get the attention span, you need to use your finger, like Kimia talked about. Okay? Look at me. Okay, eat. All right. So the nonverbal cues is what builds the bridge between providing effective care also to your client, because of their cognitive imperative. Okay, they are not able to process thought or make decisions for themselves. Communicating on what you're doing, okay, asking for consent, regardless of how many times you have done this activity with them, how many times you have participated in grooming, in bathing, in dressing. It is always a conscious decision to always ask for consent, to always explain to them the procedure that you're doing, okay? So there's always trust, okay? They don't feel vulnerable, okay, due to their lack of ability to process thought. Okay, some of the clients might be having dementia, might be having Alzheimer's. Therefore, it's always good to ask for permission. Okay. So moving on about what you do is important. Okay, be sensitive. Okay, being sensitive. All right. So the term personal suggests a concern and need for privacy. Most people want to wash, groom, and care for themselves. To someone who is frail, weak, or disabled, these tasks can take a new meaning. It is important to view your caregiving role in this task from a client resident's position. A client resident may feel uncomfortable. Okay, everybody at this state might feel uncomfortable. Okay, 1 minute you're able to look after yourself. All your life you've been caring for your kids. You've been sending them to school. Now you are equipped and you're only diminished to a small setting, and the only mobility, okay, the only flex that you have is probably just going to the toilet and coming back. Okay, you have lost all consciousness of thought, and you probably do not have the power to simply brush your hair. Okay, depending on the situation. Okay, so at this point in time, your client may be feeling a lot of conflicted feelings. Okay, their self-worth might be diminishing. All right, because they do not have the power to do these activities by themselves. That's why you need to be sensitive, okay, in the routes that you take to be able to provide the care that they solely need and that you are entitled to provide. Okay, feel uncomfortable having especially a stranger help him or her with these tasks. Okay, not even like to be touched by someone. Feel his or her independence and self-worth is threatened. Therefore, providing self-care requires great sensitivity and understanding. Okay, being able to when providing personal care, it is essential to be sensitive to the client's feelings and needs. Okay, being empathetic. Personal tasks like washing and grooming can be uncomfortable for someone who is frail. Okay, your clients, you are not only restricted to frail aged clients, but sometimes you will be dealing with disabled clients as well. All right. Okay, so they might be feeling uneasy.
What is it? Yeah, if in this work, we go to his house.
Being touched. Okay, so givers should approach this task with sensitivity and understanding. Do not force yourself into these activities, though you are on a time schedule, though you know how important it is for them to change. Okay, you know the importance of them being clean. Okay, if you have a deadline, if you're rushing to an appointment and your client is taking their time still, you need to be patient with the process. You need to be sensitive in doing these ADLs with them, okay, without taking a part of their independence away, taking away their self-worth. Okay, privacy and dignity. Always ensure the client's privacy and dignity are respected. This includes closing the door, covering the clients with towels, and keeping private conversations confidential unless the client consents to share information, and then you're given the liberty to share the information. If not, that stays between you and the client. Okay, so when you come in for your in-house practical, which is 5 weeks from now, 5 to 4 weeks from now, when you come in for your in-house practical, you will be asked to do 11 competencies, and one of the competencies is changing of the bed sheets. Okay, while you're required, one of the procedures before you change that is acquired of you by the supervisor is that you need to introduce yourself. Okay, hi, I'm a caregiver. This is my name, so and so. And explain the procedure. I am here today to change your sheets. Are you all right with that? You have to ask for their consent. Okay, while asking for their consent, you will, and if they consent, yes, or if they tell you, can you come back later, you have to abide by that and come back later. All right. Okay, so with following these instructions, you're able to provide your client with privacy and a form of dignity. And if they do consent for you to be able to change their sheets while they're on the bed, ensure that their privacy is kept at all times, meaning drawing the curtains, okay, covering them when you're changing them, okay. On the other side, still cover them, okay. On the other side, cover them. All right. Their privacy and dignity should be intact at all times, regardless of the procedure that you are undertaking. Okay, so client preferences as well. Okay, involve the client as much as possible by discussing their likes and dislikes and performing personal care tasks according to their preferences. If you like to shave in a certain kind of manner where you start from here and then you go on the kind of way, like if you're grooming your client, and then they ask you, no, could you start from the right, going on to the left? You have to stop them, go according to your client's preferences. Ask them before you even start with the grooming, are you comfortable with this side or the other side? Which side do you prefer? Are you ready if I put soap now and water? Okay, do you need time? Do you need 5 minutes to yourself before we begin? Are you sitting comfortably? Okay, towards their preferences and references, make sure that your client is as comfortable as they can be. Okay. So regardless of what you're doing, your main aim while providing ADLs is their comfortability and being able to give the best care that you can give them effectively. Okay. You as a caregiver coming in, providing the effective care that you are entitled to provide. Okay. You do not increase the span of life of your client, but you do improve their quality of living. Okay. You do not add to the years of their life, but you improve their quality of living. And improving their quality of living can have health outcomes, can have positive health outcomes. Due to that, it prolongs probably their date. Okay, prolongs probably their what can I say? Leaves their existence more with more quality, a happier being when you met them. Okay. So supporting client residents. So we ended with, okay, Abby, we have ended with being sensitive, privacy and dignity, being sensitive in the form of being empathetic, okay, towards their preferences, okay, while serving them through privacy and dignity. Now we're moving on to point 4, where we're talking about the client support and resident independence, okay, encouraging clients to do tasks, okay, whenever possible, allowing them enough time without rushing, okay, without rushing. That means giving them that space that they need, okay, to be able to complete the ADL that is in front of them. And number 5 is promote client resident safety and comfort. Okay, ensure the client's environment is safe and comfortable by maintaining proper lighting, temperature, and tidiness. Support their choices, encourage independence, and maintain safety, promote self-esteem, and report any changes to the appropriate person. Okay, so basically promoting the client's, resident safety and comfort. As you can see, it's talking about basically a holistic type of care, holistic type of being. We've touched on this in Unit 1, partially. We've touched on this Unit 2, Unit 3, okay, Unit 4, but Unit 5, and now we're looking at the intimate parts of providing the holistic care, okay, promoting self-esteem as well. That is a psychological need. Senior independence, the importance of senior independence, okay. So as people age, they naturally lose independence, okay. Now, losing independence is due to the aging process that they encounter, that their body goes through, like we have talked about, okay, the nervous system breaking down, not being able to coordinate to the other parts of the body. Okay, we have the endocrine system that is slowed down. Okay, their metabolic rate too as well slows down. Lymphatic system slows down. So as everything is slowed down, so does their independence, because they need assistance, they need help. So when all of this goes down, so does their independence as well. Okay. But they can still maintain as much as independence as possible, whether they live at home, okay, receive home care, or reside in assisted housing. Understanding how to support their independence helps caregivers, okay, helps caregivers and family members ensure that they maintain a high quality of life as long as possible. Okay, understanding how to support their independence. So that means you need to be very observant. We had talked about this, about acquiring a superpower, okay? Being observant helps you in so many kind of ways, because with the information that you have and the knowledge, and being able to pick up certain movements, certain things that are wrong, certain things that you can implement, can highly affect your client in a positive manner. Therefore, increasing the quality of life, okay, for as long as possible. Okay, we talked about this briefly. Now moving on to the next slide, slide 7, it talks about the importance of senior independence. Okay, so the sense of dignity. Okay, when seniors maintain independence, they continue to exercise control over their lives. All right, So when reinforcement, their sense of dignity, being able to make decisions and perform tasks on their own affirmations and capabilities. Okay, validating, it contributes to validating their sense of self-worth. Independence helps seniors feel valued and respected, acknowledging their experiences and contributions throughout life. This respect is crucial for their physiological, and emotional well-being, as it reinforces their identity and significance as individuals. Okay, their contributions throughout life, whether they have being a mom, took a part-time job as a teacher and a part-time mom as well. Okay, asking them about fond memories, okay, could also contribute to their self-worth and what they have contributed to throughout their whole life. Okay, not just summing up to them as someone who is 87 with dementia that needs assistance and need assistance with ADLs, all right? There is a story that has been told. There is a life that has been lived. It is your job, your duty as a caregiver, if your client still has the ability to share stories, the ability to be able to connect, share a couple of their experiences, okay, relive a couple of their fond memories of their childhood or their professions that they were in before they succumb to any conditions that they are with at that certain age. Okay, emotional well-being. Okay, independent living helps prevent losing the feeling of helplessness, depression, and anxiety. Okay, so that is their emotional state of being. Just as we talked about, holistic care is about the emotional aspect, psychological aspect, and their physical aspect as well. Okay, so independent living helps prevent these feelings of helplessness, depression, and anxiety, giving seniors a sense of control over their lives, leading to a better emotional well-being. Okay, the fact that you can give them a sort of control over their life, they can pick the shirts that they wear. Okay, they can choose where they have breakfast, at the patio, okay, in the kitchen, okay, wherever they feel more comfortable in. If it's usually a routine always at the breakfast table, be spontaneous about that. Give them a sense of control, but within the safety measures of the house. Okay, moving on to physical health. Okay, independence encourages seniors to play physically, to stay physically active, promoting better health, strength, and flexibility and balance as well, which reduces the risk of falls and injuries. Okay, physical activity is a key component of healthy aging and independence. It often motivates seniors to remain active. Okay, so these physical light exercises help seniors maintain their strength. Okay, it also reduces the risks of falls and injuries as well, since they're so used to being able. They're always stipulated. Okay, so they are not easily worn out. They have a form of endurance with them. Okay, also with mental stipulation. Okay, a mental stipulation. It's an engagement. Okay, mental engagement is vital for preserving cognitive functions, like we talked about. As the aging process, um, part of the aging process is your client going through a cognitive impairment where the nervous system breaks down and basically they cannot process any form of thought or make decisions by themselves. Therefore, their capacity to be able to decide for themselves is at question. Okay, I'm not saying they cannot decide on what shirt to wear, what would they like to eat. In terms of financial liabilities or properties that is probably under their name, due to the fact that they are at the state where they are cognitively impaired, it is questioned whether they can make these decisions by themselves. If not, there is someone who is trusted to be able to decide for them, okay? A trusted family member or a legal person that is present to be able to sign off of these things. Okay, so that's why mental engagement is also encouraged to be able to pursue, okay, to give them a form. It preserves cognitive functions, okay. Independence plays a key role, okay, making them, encouraging them to make decisions, solving problems, okay, and participating in activities that challenges their minds, okay. This ongoing mental stimulation keeps cognitive ability sharp, helping to delay or reduce the risk of cognitive decline, such as memory loss or dementia. Engaging in activities like reading or solving puzzles or learning new skills also contributes to the sense of purpose and fulfillment. Okay, so these are the aspects of senior independence on sense of dignity, emotional well-being, physical health, and mental stabilization. Okay, avoids them from getting Alzheimer's, emotional well-being, fights the effects of getting helplessness, feeling of helplessness, depression. Okay, sense of dignity. It affirms the capabilities and physical health. It helps them. It reduces the risks of getting injuries. Okay, so moving on to a personalized lifestyle. Independence allows seniors to shape their lives according to their own preferences, routines, and values. They have the freedom to make choices about their daily activities, hobbies, and lifestyle, leading to greater sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. Them having to choose, okay, their personalized lifestyle. Okay, personalized lifestyle, it also attributes to something that we talked about in week 1. You can go back and check your notes. It talks about care center plan, right? So your care center plan is focused on what your client is actually a tailored experience, personalized lifestyle, a care that you provide personally for your client, okay? So that is basically just their references towards their care, their preferences of what they'd rather have, and their personal experience all interlinked into one to be able to integrate a personalized lifestyle or care center plan. Okay, continued personal growth. By maintaining independence, seniors have the opportunity to pursue interest, hobbies, and goals. This continued personal growth and learning contribute to their overall sense of purpose and fulfillment. Maintaining independence allows seniors to continue pursuing personal interests. Okay, and it is an ongoing process that nobody will ever stop experiencing. Not us, not them. Okay, it is a lifelong journey, being able to grow. Okay, engaging in new experiences, challenges also helps keeps their minds active and contributes to their overall well-being. Okay, reduced burden on others. Independent seniors are less reliant on others for day-to-day tasks, reducing the burden on their families, caregivers, and the healthcare systems. This promotes a sense of self-reliance and lessens the strain on support networks. Okay, I think that explains, that sentence explains itself really well, okay? The self-reliance not only promotes their dignity, but also allows a support, a network to focus on more complex care needs when necessary. Okay, with removing the strain, okay, removing the strain of focusing on simple tasks every day, that strain has been removed. And then it's on more complicated, more complex issues that may arise while looking after your client, okay? The energy shifts and there is more of I wouldn't say relaxation, but a strain taken out of the support system where it is divided, where the client is able, when the client is able to retain independence, it reduces the burden, okay? And overall, the experience of providing healthcare service is at its efficiency and is effective because everybody is putting in at a proportionally proportion rate for everybody. Okay. Increased life satisfaction. Okay. Overall, Okay. Independence empowers seniors to live on their own terms. Okay. Fostering a strong sense of accomplishment, happiness, satisfaction. It helps them maintain their identity and enjoy a life that is both fulfilling, meaningful, contributing to a higher quality life in their later years as well. Okay, increased life satisfaction. So this is all, if you're a bit confused, the importance of independence. Okay, the sense of dignity, physical health, emotional well-being, mental stipulation, reduced burden, increased life satisfaction, personalized lifestyle that we talked about, care center plan, and continued personal growth. Okay, so how to promote independence in the elderly? Okay, promoting independence in the elderly involves taking steps to ensure that they enjoy the best quality of life while maintaining their autonomy. This can include maintaining familiar routines to keep them in their comfort zone, though balancing this with meeting their needs can be challenging. Okay, autonomy. Have you guys ever heard of that word, autonomy? Is that a new word you guys just heard about? Autonomy is respecting the preferences, the rights of your client. That is autonomy. And there could be a conflict of respecting the rights, the autonomy of the client, while providing them the safety and care that they need. Because let's say your client has asked you, okay, right, they are liable for that. They can ask you that they want to go for a walk, but due to safety measures, okay, due to the safety measures, let's say that your client has just came out of surgery, okay, their knee is swollen. Due to that issue, you are bound to provide the best care and for their safety. So when you're bound to always listening to your client, respecting their rights, which is autonomy, while it's something they're asking that might, okay, put them in a danger, okay, put them in harm's way, what do you do as a caregiver? Do you force them? Do you tell them off? No, you cannot walk. You just came out of a surgery. What do you think? Okay, that is not cool. Okay, or you could probably putting a different option of, hey, I know you really wanted to go for a walk today, but you know your leg is still healing. This is the fact of this is what has happened. Can we schedule the walk for another time, or I could take you for ice cream? Okay, come up with options that is negotiable with your client. Okay, negotiate with them on more harmful option rather than putting a strain on them. Okay, so that is what basically is you promoting independence while being in a safe zone, okay, while looking after for their best interest as well. Autonomy is always coming up with what is best for your client. Beneficial is basically respecting the client's needs, and non-maleficence is do no harm, okay, doing no harm to your client. So these are the, I could say, the ethical principles that you are bound to as a caregiver that you should always adhere to. Okay, these are ethical principles that you should adhere to while looking after your client. So sometimes your ethical principles go against the safety measures. Okay, go against the safety measures. So what do? Okay, negotiate. Okay, do not misuse your power as a caregiver to force what you need, what you think is best. But as we've talked about to this point, effective communication, spirituality, okay, looking after their holistic being takes a lot of patience and a lot of understanding as well. Okay, encourage them to perform daily tasks. Now this is going back. Okay, supporting seniors in performing day-to-day tasks like folding clothes. Okay, something simple. Okay, washing the dishes, okay, preparing meals. They could either wash the vegetables for you. Okay? Even small contributions help them feel reassured and capable. Okay, that gives them a sense of independence. Okay, and also you could consider hiring an occupational therapist to work with your senior. Okay, senior loved one, to help train them to confront their adults in a different way with tools to help them keep their independence. That is a suggestion that you could either also hire a occupational therapist if the family encourages such. So, inspiring role models. Okay. Independent seniors, okay, set an example for future generations by showcasing the importance of self-sufficiency, resilience, as you can see, okay, resilience, and embracing challenges that come what may, whether their age, they are still independent in somewhat form, okay. Encouraging decision makings involving seniors in the decisions about their daily lives, such as healthcare, household matters, social activities, respects their opinions and promotes a sense of control and autonomy. So this participation is crucial, okay, for the sense of independence. Also promoting active engagement, okay. Encourage seniors to engage in activities that stimulate their mind, like we talked about, okay. Bodies and emotions, such as hobbies as well, volunteer work that they could participate in, a lifelong of learning material, okay, which is puzzles or just basically a book if they are interested in that. Okay, so particularly based on the preferences of your client, then you are able to set the boundaries of what you're able to do, what you're not able to do. Okay, so everything goes back to their care center plan. If your client is interested in certain things, but you want to introduce this thing because you learned about this, you did a study on this, and you want to introduce this new game, but it has no form of whatsoever interest to your client will not be interested. Okay, remember, when engaging in social activities, when engaging in volunteer work, make sure it is something that pertains a sort of interest towards your client. Okay, guys. Okay. Fostering social connections. Okay. Encouraging older adults to engage in social interactions by joining community groups. Okay. Recognize the importance of social connections for older adults and facilitate opportunities for social interaction. Encourage them to join community groups, attend social events, or connect with friends and family. Social engagement reduces feelings of loneliness and isolation while prompting independence. Social engagement reduces feelings of loneliness and isolation. These are key elements that contribute to the emotional state of a client. So when you foster social connections, you cancel off these elements. Therefore, you are contributing to their emotional state of being, which is another, let's say, a third branch of their holistic care. Boom, that's canceled out. Okay. Social connections. If your client is into bingo, all right, sign them up for a class with their friends, or you could do one as well with just you to have an activity day, okay, where you to just practice a board game with each other. Okay. Adapting living spaces, make modifications to living space to enhance safety and accessibility. Install grab bars, improving of lighting, removing tripping hazards, or consider assistive devices that support independence in daily activities. Adapting the environment can enable older adults to navigate their homes with confidence. Okay, this is just moving away all hazardous, moving away all hazardous, moving away all hazardous appliances that may cause a form of injury towards your client. Okay, so adapting to living spaces and also providing technology education. Offer guidance on using technology devices and applications that enhance independence. Teach older adults how to use smartphones, okay? Making phone calls, whether they're teaching them how to text as well. I know probably texting is a bit too hard because of their fingers. You could just use an emoji, okay? Use an emoji for certain things that you want. A cup of water, okay? A cup of water, or could you take me to the park? Okay, just using emojis, or if technology is a bit too hard, you can use pictures. Okay, pictures, pictogram. You can post up an option list for your client where you draw a couple of options. Okay, make it a bit exciting for them, or you could print out pictures and go, would you rather left or right? Would you go for a walk? Or would you like to stay in and eat ice cream? So one of the other two. Okay, providing technology education. I wouldn't say it's mandatory. It depends on your client as well. Okay, whether they're able to consume that much of information, then go ahead. If they're not, then please stick to something that is simple. Like I said, it is the preference and reference of your client that is able to give you the boundary of where you can step out of, where you can step in. Okay, so moving on to, okay, how can we promote independence with, how can you promote independence in a person with dementia? Okay, so dementia is a difficult disease to deal with. Anyone who has had a family member, okay, anyone who has had a family member diagnosed with dementia knows that a toll it takes on their loved one and the challenges it brings to both person and their caregivers. Okay, number one is making the home safe. Okay, ensure the home is equipped with safety devices to prevent accidents and facilitate mobility. Install grab bars in the bathroom. Okay, use non-slip rugs or mats, and remove any tripping hazards like throw rugs, anything they might slide on. Okay, these modifications can help reduce the risk of falls and make the environment safer for individuals with dementia. Now, why is it highlighted with dementia like we talked about? Dementia is where they basically cannot process thought, okay? Their thought process is a bit slow and they cannot make decisions for themselves. Therefore, modifying the environment, okay? Removing anything that contributes to the risk of falls, okay? Grab bars, non-slip rugs, okay? Making tasks easier, okay? Simplify tasks to accommodate the changing abilities and encourage safer ways of doing things. Like I said, this goes back to your client's references and preferences and their personal experiences. So you need to be really observant whether, will my client succeed in this area? Will they not? Okay, should I be encouraging them to contribute to participate in this type of exercises? Will it put a strain on them? Okay, pushing them over the edge, training their mental stipulation. You know, you have to consider also their capacity to be able to deal with these activities, whether you're not overloading them. All right, and encouraging the use of aids. Okay, utilizing senior care professionals to assist with challenging tasks while supporting independence. Okay, hire a senior care professional to help with tasks that have become difficult, such as lifting heavy objects, okay, or house cleaning. Okay, these professionals can also assist with transportation to appointments and errands as well, enabling the individual to maintain a degree of independence while receiving the necessary support. Okay, you have the people doing the background work, and they're just there contributing in small areas where they don't feel left out. Okay, so this will be our last slide before I break you guys all up for a break and for your community work, for your presentations as well. Okay, so foster well-being, foster emotional well-being. Okay, so supporting older adults in maintaining their emotional well-being by actively listening to their concerns. We talked about this in module 1, where actively listening is part of a skill. Okay, providing emotional support and connecting to them with counseling or therapy if needed. Okay, You could refer them to a professional counselor, a professional therapist as well. But you could also do this in the form of being empathetic. Okay, as a caregiver, you are entitled to be empathetic, to connect with your client, to be able to provide them the emotional needs staple that they need in that point of time. But if it becomes too much, it is out of your democade, then I suggest you talk to your client about these things and you tell them that they need professional help. Therefore, moving on to a professional counselor or a therapist. Okay, addressing mental health concerns helps preserve their independence and overall quality of life. Okay, because you are a caregiver and you observe that probably your client is going through a depressive episode, they're isolating themselves and they're not being themselves. Okay, because you are always with them, you are able to catch these signs. Okay, if you raise your concerns with your client and your client refuses to go seek medical attention for their depression that they're probably having, the symptoms of depression, okay, or to get checked or to go receive counseling, okay, you you are bonded by confidentiality to respect what your client wants, which is keeping that piece of information private, that they are probably suffering from depression. Okay, your client may feel the urge to not become an added burden to their family members or yourself. Therefore, they do not want that much attention. But in those case scenarios, when you are conflicted between your code of ethics of providing a form of confidentiality while putting the safety of your client first, you can ask a supervisor, okay? Supervisor on how to move on with this dilemma that you're in, okay, supervisor, and they are able to provide you with solutions, okay, because keep in mind, okay, there is a code of ethics that every caregiver is born to, and that is confidentiality. And if you are asked by your client to keep that private, going against their wishes is a breach of your ethical code as a caregiver. So therefore, ask for advice, okay? Concerns, do not share the information, do not get the help that you think that they need. You still need to keep their wishes, their requests, okay? Your top priority. Okay, ask a supervisor for more insight on these type of issues. There is a ethical dilemma. Moving on to maintaining respectful communication. Okay, treat all adults with respect and dignity. Okay, avoid any condescending comments. All right, or assumptions about their abilities. Okay, engage in open, empathetic communication. All right, valuing their perspective and actively listening to them without making them feel small due to the aging process that they do not control. Okay, just create a environment that is healthy and encouraging. Okay, provide resources and education. Okay, share information about community resources and support services and educational opportunities. Okay, available to older adults. Empower them with knowledge and provide guidance on assessing assistance where needed, enabling them to make informed decisions and maintain their independence. Okay, like I said, this also has to do with the capacity. Okay, informed decisions, their capacity to be able to make those decisions. Are they capable? Are they not capable? Do they need a third party? Or where do they need a form of legal representation? Okay, that all depends on their capability. Remember, nurturing the sense of independence in older adults requires a person-centered approach that acknowledges their unique needs, preferences, and capabilities. By fostering a supportive and empowering environment, we can help older adults maintain their independence and dignity and overall well-being. Okay, so this basically talks about your holistic care, and requires a person-centered approach. Like I talked about, person-centered approach is basically their references, preferences, and the client's experience. And that is how you tackle them. That is how you come up with their ADLs. So how do you tackle their ADLs? Due to their capabilities. You cannot expect them to do 3 rounds or 4 rounds or expect them to eat a heavy meal in the morning? What if their appetite, okay, what if your client has a different appetite? Of course, you have to adjust to their dietary restrictions, okay? Like I said, no client is the same. You have to respect, according to your client's references and preferences, that is your borderline. That is your cut line, that is your yeses, that is your no. Okay, everything pertains to back to what they want, their reference preferences and their personal experiences. Okay, so very good. Now we have 21 participants here today with us. I will be putting you guys in your break rooms and putting your questions. Okay, so 21 participants. Wow. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in today. And I hope we will have a very awesome discussion. Okay. Yes, guys. Okay. So I'll be putting the questions in the group chat. Okay, so now you can take a breather. I know I've been talking for too long. I hope everybody had an amazing afternoon. Okay, it's Wednesday. Sorry we had to cancel class yesterday. It's due to the power disruptions, and our power came back on around 6. Yeah, it came around 5:30 actually. So yeah, I hope everyone was safe and nobody went missing yesterday. And it's good to see everybody here as well. So 21 participants, I'll be putting in the questions in the chat. Where is the chat? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Okay, so group one. Group one will be okay. So today our group work will be a bit lengthy. Okay. So group one, this is your question. Okay. Group one is Amit, Isne, Karleni, Mary, Maureen, Shelley, and Shalvista. Okay. You've seen I have put it up to, I've changed it a bit, and I have done 3 categories. I have put emotional well-being, I've put respectful communication, and there's questions under that. So answer those questions under those categories, okay? Strategy, share strategies for actively listening, providing emotional support, and engaging in respecting communication in the context of the Pacific cultures. Also, you have seen I have also put it under based on basically our community, something that we can relate to, not white people culture, okay? So basically group one, your topic is fostering emotional well-being and respectful communication. We just talked about this. This is also part of your notes. This is not something I just pulled out of the air, okay? So group one, this is your question, okay? Group one is emotional well-being and respectful communication. Okay, how can we support the emotional well-being of older adults in the Pacific communities? Okay, consider cultural values and practices that might influence mental health and emotional support. All right, something more relatable. Okay, group two, this is your question. Group two is Afsa, Avi, Kahira, Ilaikini, Nimra, Senimili, and Shalashni. Okay, same thing. I have distributed 3 sections. Okay, as you can see, each question is unique and it pertains to a particular point of view towards certain aspects in the Pacific. Okay, so no answer would be the same, unique. Okay, and group 3, this is your question. Okay, providing resources and education. We talked about this. Okay, community resources. What types of community resources and support services are available for older adults in the Pacific community? How accessible are these resources? Do a little bit of research, do a little bit of reading, and if you can't find any, then you can put in your advice on what do you think is needed, okay? What do you think is needed in the Pacific Islanders that can help encourage, okay? And how can it be accessible to the minorities in the Pacific, the aged care. All right. Educational opportunities. What are educational opportunities can be offered to older adults in the Pacific communities to help them stay informed and engaged? How can these be delivered in a culturally relevant way? Okay, so when I'm talking about the older adults in the Pacific, okay, there is a diverse, as soon as they pass the age of 55, okay, 55 is the age where people are retired, which is the government age. So there is a age band as well that you can formulate your answers with. They don't have to be really old. They can be still in their middle old age. Okay, we talked about this. There is young old, middle old, and old. Okay, there's 3 categories of olds, but they're still old. Okay. An interesting way that you can also look at this is that those who have retired at the age of 55, right? Some of them joined the force again after 5 years, all right? After 5 years to be able to present their experience, okay? Because not everybody has accumulated that kind of experience and the workforce is still young. So being at that age, being able to provide that level of supervision, contextual knowledge towards the career that they spend probably 35 of their years building. Okay, so maybe that's how you could empower older beings as well. But I want to hear your side. I want to hear your point of view. And yeah, if you need anyone has questions, okay, I will be here if you need questions. I mean, if you have questions. So I will be giving you 25 to 30 minutes of discussion. And then we can come back and have a discussion on this. Okay, guys, is that clear to everybody? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ruby. Okay, make sure you screenshot your questions, but I will be also here if you need help. 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm opening up your groups right now. Dry up, and if it's hot, they just wear the sulu. Okay, that is easier and accessible, and it's culturally appropriate for the weather as well as overseas. You can't see people in a sulwatonga due to the weather conditions, the atmosphere. Okay, atmospheric pressure. It would be you could be charged for negligence for not putting enough clothes on your client, whereas in Pacific Islands, it's actually okay because of the weather and it's culturally appropriate. All right, so that's one of the things that you need to understand is cultural sensitivity stems, and it's very different from the environment that you're in. So if you become a caregiver in Fiji, overseas, understand the culture and do so with the appropriate resources that is available to you. Okay, so can we have support services next?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I will be explaining about support services. Briefly, just want to give just a few input on this discussion that already done. I apologize to the class today because group 2 we still in the middle of our discussion, and then we don't know that we are all back in and I'm sorry if there will be some disruption on my background. I hope you guys will all understand. Okay, we are discuss about some point of home safety in Pacific communities. One is about toilet. Most of the rural areas, they still using a pit toilets, watering toilet in Fiji and around the Pacific communities. So this is one of the major challenges in Pacific communities about proper washrooms. So once we have a senior residents in our villages, in rural areas, in our community, these are something that we have to be taking care of, to be very care of. It's about during their time of going to the toilet because uh, we can assist them from going to the washroom because of pit toilet and watering toilet. Uh, it can lead to some incidents can happen. And also in bathrooms, bathroom difficulties in water access. Some in the rural areas. Some of us they used to use basin. We bath from maybe water bottle, bucket, or drum, or still going to the river to bath. So we should be very careful while taking care of our senior citizens, senior residents about while they taking their bath. And the lack of water supplies in most rural areas, also in urban areas, this can also lead to some concern of safety, common safety concern for home safety concern for our Pacific communities. In modification, we can like nowadays we have TikToks, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. Everyone is access in modern day world, like technology. So instead of making those kind of TikTok moves, live on TikTok with those dirty jokes and battles on TikToks, why don't we create some awareness about how to take care of our senior citizens? Okay? And you can give some tips, educate the communities, give them some tips, whatever we learn from our class. We can post it up on our TikTok page. We can give them some tips, show them some example, educate them about awareness of community safety, especially for our city residents. And adaptive tools like we already discussed about wheelchair, walkers, cane and hearing and vision aid. And I will be focused on support services. Support services, the role of senior care professionals. First of all, I just want to help enlighten us about what the role of senior professionals. Senior professionals, they are trained to provide essential health services to prevent diseases, promote health and care for individuals, families, and communities based on the primary health care approach. Okay? So, primary care approach. They also help to they also help to treat and prevent human illness, injuries, and other physical and mental impairments in accordance with the needs of the population they serve. This is a professional and a critical player for healthcare professionals, qualities, and access globally. Ever since you certify as the healthcare sector, when you certify in the healthcare sector of society has been working, this is a sector of society has been working non-stop to give services to others. To give services to others. And sorry. And technical skills and knowledge. What are they trained and they can serve in technical skill and knowledge. They are professional in emotional stability, attention to details, empathy, problem solving, communication, and interpersonal skills. Educating communities about what we can do is to educating communities about prevention cures and other health tips, providing preventive medication, giving out information about healthy lifestyle, and preventing disease from spreading, dedicate our free time to educate the communities about and how we can join our hands together to improve the safety of our senior residents. Our last question on this was about how can we assist older adults while respecting cultural norms and practices. As a caregiver, we are known as a professional of no barrier. So as a caregiver, we are professional healthcare with no barrier. So there are no barrier in our cultural norms. You in cross culture, you if you are Fijian and you're going to look after Indian or Chinese or European or whatever race you are going to take care of, there is no barrier in between. Never mind if you are Christians and they are Hindu or they are Muslims. So count yourself that you are a professional, a certified person to provide care. So whatever race come across, you should adapt to their culture and their way of life. Um, so when it comes to Lotu time, let's say example, I'm a Christian and they uh, uh, Gujarati, the Indian, and once during the Lotu time, they sing the Lotu song. I sing along, and look at this. I have Raksa Bandhan on my hand during Raksa Bandhan day. I also have a Raksa Bandhan they tie on my hand. So I'm a Christian. So people will be asking why you tie that. That is not holy. So as a healthcare professional, I create no barrier, demolish all barrier in between us in order to respect and practice their culture. Okay? So during Raksabandhan, I also have my Raksabandhan tie on my hand, but I'm a Christian. During their prayer, I help them with a prayer too. I know some tips of their prayer song is Hare Rama, and Hare Krishna, I sing along. So though it's forbidden in my culture, in my religious, but I'm a healthcare professional. I want to give care to those who need care. So create no barrier. There is no barrier in between us. And last of all, most of us in rural areas, uh, our senior citizens, they are farmers, and we kept things just in any places. Like example, medication, a knife. Be careful. We should when we have senior citizens at home or disability at home. So these we should prioritize. Medication you should thank you, Iki Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. I know the song. During when we have a senior residents at home or disability at home, um, medication. Make sure you don't put their medication in in any place. Don't place it in a place that they can easily access to, because you don't know. Because we already start about a study about the mind that it's really slowly respond. Uh, so anyone can just come and take the medication and put it on. You don't know, and when something happen after, you will be running around and asking questions. Why is this happen? Maybe because she take a medicine or she take that medicine, you don't know, because the reason you just put it in that place. You shouldn't put it there. Maybe you can buy a container or a box, put all your medication in, or make a drawer and put all the medication in. The knife for farmers in rural areas, don't place the knife where it always, because senior residents, old people, they know my knife. Every morning when I wake up, I have to go to the garden and go to the farm, and this is where I put my knife. So they will go there and check the knife. If the knife is there, they will take the knife, and if they don't agree with something, or they're disappointed with any conversation, they know where they put the knife, because it's part of their daily living. They're part of their work every day. So they will go straight to where they put a knife and they grab the knife and they can defend them to defend themselves. So when we have a senior citizens at home or a disability, make sure you put a knife, a change where you place your knife, put a knife somewhere, or make a lock, a drawer, lock for every drawer where you have a kitchen knife, chopper, and all sub items, what can I say? You make sure you kept it in a place that they could not access to. They cannot access to. And the medication, make sure you hide every medication. If they do, when I talk about medication, it doesn't mean only Panadol and paracetamol, whatever. Also, they can drink Fabuloso. You know, my one example, I have a lotion, body lotion in our hankout, and one of my patients comes in during in the morning to come and brush his teeth, and then he took out his denture, and then he bring his toothbrush, and then I saw him pressing the lotion, the body lotion on the toothbrush. You know, what you doing? I'm going to brush my teeth. So what you doing with that lotion? This is not lotion, this is Colgate. See, it's an example. So make sure you place it should be Dettol, Fabuloso, cleaning things like that. Make sure you place it nicely because this can be lead to some a problem with our patient and take care of our patient at home. So maybe that's all I want to discuss with us today. Thank you so much for the group two.
Group two, that talked about man, I can't see your question. Hold on, guys. Your question on, man, it came out the other way. Oh, here it is, right? So on, Ilakimi, you talked about the support services. Before you talked about the support services, I found it really interesting that you talked about the pit toilets, which was something too that I highlighted or I wanted to discuss further on, but then in your discussion, you had picked that up, which was really, really interesting and good. And thank you for that, because that is the reality of the Pacific community, okay? That is actually something that our rural elders do not have access to, which is proper washroom, proper toileting, proper water, proper water systems as well. Okay, he talked about that when you talked about the use of water bottles, buckets as well. And these are some things that we need to take into consideration while looking after the minority, the aged community in the Pacific Islanders, because not everybody has the accessibility to proper hygienic toileting. Okay, some areas they still use pit toilets, which he highlighted really well in some of the adaptive tools and some of the things that we can actually look at. And he talked about also he talked about promoting the senior professionals promoting health care based on the primary care approach. Okay, which the sector highlight what he had said, a sector working nonstop, giving services to other people. We saw this in the COVID-19. We saw this in COVID-19 happening where everybody was laid off except for the frontliners in the healthcare system, okay, in the healthcare sector, where they had to provide the necessary needs, okay, regardless of what was happening around the world. They were still there, they were still present, they were still providing accessible needs for everybody. All right, and also being empathetic. And he talked about cross culture as well, something I want to highlight, something he had talked about Raksha Banan. And also he said the restrictions within a religion as well, but because of being a healthcare worker, he demolishes that boundary within cross culture, which is actually what a caregiver should be doing. Okay, regardless of the religion background you come from, you have to respect your clients' culture, beliefs. That is all cultural sensitivity as well. And the fact that he takes part in this prayers, but he's still Christian. Okay, there was a question that came up. What if you come upon clients who are gay, who are in a living relationship with the same sex? What do you do? Do you condemn them? This is not part of my religion. Oh, I can't touch that. Okay, that's not holy enough for me. Do you? That is against the whole your ethics as a caregiver. Okay, you do not see culture. You just see a human being. Okay, that has a certain set of beliefs, a certain set of cultural attributes that they live by, and a code of conduct that they live by. You, as a caregiver, only see that. That is why we talk about care-centered plan. Your approach towards your client is according to their references, their preferences, and their experience, nothing about you. All we need from you is your energy, your time, your wisdom. All right. Your inputs on their lifestyle is not needed. Okay. If you can't participate, if you don't feel comfortable, remove yourself from that area. Speak to a supervisor and say, I don't feel comfortable handling this patient because so and so reasons. But then again, it is against an ethical code, which we will talk about later on, on the ethical codes, the principles that govern a caregiver. All right. The core belief system of a caregiver. We talked about spirituality. Now we're going to go on the ethical side of it. Thank you so much for that, Eli Kimi, for your diverse explanation on basically touching all the different norms. Now we're moving on to group 3 with your question being, what is your question, group 3? Providing resources and education. Are you guys ready?
Madam, yes, we are ready. Just a request, madam.
Okay.
Since I'm on number 3, I have to present number 3. And also at the same time, I'm driving and I have to attend one prayer service. Is it possible I just park somewhere and present mine and then leave the group, please?
Okay, yes, sure.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Stephen, if you want, I can do it for us.
No, I have already made mine. Just give me
Okay,
1
alright.
minute, eh? Yeah. Let me park somewhere here. Madam.
Yes.
Our what do you call it? Our presentation was on providing resources and education. So on behalf of Group 3, I'm presenting number 3, that is empowerment. How can we empower old adults with knowledge about services? What method is the best in the Pacific context? So in here, empowering older adults with knowledge about services is crucial.
Pacific communities. So for that, there's lot of resources available, but I'll be naming some of them. The first resources are from Pacific is the nature. For whatever we do, our nature is our best friend. And medical service, home visits, community awareness, community outreach, man-made resources, cultural artifacts, and outdoor activities, social welfare, father-law home, chess service, face-to-face workshop, vocational schools, and technologies on educational is like phone, TV, movies, and I could add in their storybooks also with lot of pictures to explain them in their old age. Last but not least, but family and caregivers who will be educated them in their old age how to move their items, feed them, or things like that. As Elikini has said, we have to educate them what they are using and what it's right for them. And for how to access these resources is by going for a clinic. And for nature, like I have mentioned, social welfare, they're providing a free bus card service, like only just fill out few basic information and they will give you free groceries and free bus card top up. So for nature, you can visit them. And technology, the family members can top up your phone and give you money for TV and movies, things like that, so you can get an access to them. And for church service, it's like inviting prayers and church, all culture prayers, including community prayers, team for spiritual healing. So the information of the knowledge will be healing you in a spiritual way also. and to encourage them to maintain their independence and to approach them how to get the service is by talking to them and educating them how well to get connected with those activities, and there is no age of knowledge to gain, so there is all age can get educated and there is no age limit. And if we are educating them, we can use stickers, games, information posters, community things, and appropriate opportunities for older people with recent learning and experience. Go slower, lower the tone with new information, and allow time for elderly to process before moving. Always take a break, add in fun activities, learn with them and relax with them so they can get the access of education whatever they are needed in a proper way. Thank you from my side. I think Sangeeta will take it on from there. Thank you.
So I'll be talking about educational opportunities. What educational opportunities can be offered to older adults in specific communities to help them stay informed and engaged, and how can these be delivered in cultural relevant ways? First, I would say like by giving health education, teach about managing health, including traditional practice in familiar community setting. Secondly, I would say like a cultural workshop, provide classes on traditional craft, storytelling, and cultural activities led by respected elders. And thirdly, I would say that community engagement, encourage older adults to take activity roles in community decision through group discussion and forms. And how can these be delivered in cultural relevant ways? So first I would say that by using storytelling, local traditionals to teach, hold sessions in familiar community space like churches or local halls, involve elders in plannings and leading to respect their knowledge and ensure programs fit their cultural and say, like last I would say that by
They have a different method of teaching, solving a maths equation. It's more different than what we know now, and what they knew was so different, and we take those on and we apply it in our daily lives. And so, yeah, so by addressing these points, we can help ensure that the older adults in our Pacific communities not only have access to the resource and support they need, but also feel empowered and engaged in their communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Group 3, for your discussion on the empowerment and how we can empower our older adults with knowledge about available resources and services, what methods best work in the Pacific, and also the question to educational opportunities and community resources. It was well-versed and well-grouped together. A bit confusing in the beginning, but towards the end, when 1 and 2 and 3 had come up, and then we were able to get the full picture of what was actually being discussed in your group. And I think that you guys have really done really well. And it's very informative and straight to the point, which is very well done. Thank you so much, Group 3. Some of the highlights that I got from your discussion was about the social welfare, how they're able to just fill in basic information and you're able to get groceries, money on a monthly basis. And also education, right? Being able to educate the younger generation through storytelling, right? Where the elderly can participate in such things. And also the methods that you guys used to categorize through young, old, middle, old, very old, the radio stations, which group would listen to what station, and basically how you all formulated back to the knowledge that these people have acquired with most of their life. And it's very different from what we have, very different from what we have been taught. And that is what makes it unique and special and part of our culture, right? And what Ruby had talked about was the best Bacololo. Sorry, Ruby, you talked about Bacololo, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Also, a fond memory of mine too from my grandfather as well was the Bacololo, okay? We could compete right now who makes the best Bacololo, but yes, I think our grandparents would have been really good friends, okay, because they made a mean Bacololo. Nowadays, it just doesn't hit the same as our grandfathers used to do it, as our forefathers. Now I hardly eat it. When you had talked about it, then I had a distant memory of, and the last time I had it was when my grandfather made it. Other than that, I once in a while, which was not in a long time, then I'm able to participate in such activities such as food, even selection of food. I'm closed up only to that memory, to my granddad, and that's it. I don't associate it again now, not because I don't trust it, it's because I know it's never going to be the same, and that's it for me. So yeah. So thank you so much for everybody's group discussion, and I really enjoyed hearing each and every one of you. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Eli Kimi, yes, Eli Kimi.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to give a point from Group 3's discussion, presentation. Very
Okay.
interesting. You know, in Fiji, we known as people with one-day reach, Pacific Islanders. So when I say one-day reach, everyone is familiar with this. Okay, we are talking about empowerment. So while we still in a normal age, we all can be able to put the bread on the table. So people just get their wages, their pay end of the week, and then they go for drinks. You know, they spend their money, and again comes to the next week, then people start asking for $1 for going to for bus fare, and asking for noodles and share lunch. Maybe some of us are fasting from morning till afternoon, then just breakfast and dinner. So we are known and one day rich. So when it comes to the stage of young, old, and very old, so when we go near that stage, the first stage of young old, we can, what I'm thinking, in the kind of empowerment, we should create more awareness and a workshop. You know, when we are working, our company will do more workshop for our staff. So once if you are a teacher, when you go closer to your retirement, we need to focus on, we have to create more awareness and education about retirement, because as Fiji, we are just one day rich. We just focus on today. Everyone should be reminded and should be educated that we are responsible for our own safety. So we should empower that. You are responsible for your own safety. So once you are working, don't focus on your friendship or exchange your time with money. No, we should focus on our retirement. Because once you get old, who you expecting to give you food on the table? Who are you expecting to take you to the toilet? Who are you expecting to bath you? Most of us say, yo, I'm gonna get on the most of us say that my daughter there, my son there, they will responsible for that. So in regard of empowerment, make sure everyone, thanks to the government having FNPF deducted, but don't focus on buying a car on your FNPF. Maybe you should renovate your house and renovate your house so that you can get easy access to bathroom and toilet once you reach the old age. That's it. From Group 3 Empowerment. That's some idea coming up with. No more one day rich this time. Keep your money for your retirement.
Thank you so much for that, Eli Kimi. Okay. Like you said, not one day rich. I think that is a very unique aspect of looking at things, and that's what I love about these group discussions with you guys. It's almost it's actually 10 minutes to 8, and yes, thank you so much for your inputs and your unique ways of looking at these problems and relating to it in the Pacific cultures, because whatever you just read, whatever we just learned this afternoon was all westernization. And the question that I had put out there was relating it to the Pacific, and you guys have done splendidly well. You guys have done amazingly well in observing which part of the areas that you seem fit And you guys explore that with your imagination. And thank you so much for that. And I commend you guys on such a great discussion. I enjoy having this with you guys. And that runs up of tonight. So I'll see you guys tomorrow as well. We will move on with our notes and also have a discussion. And Friday as well, we'll just have a 1 hour discussion, pop in, pop out, probably less than an hour, 45 minutes or less, 30 minutes. Just a discussion, just to cover up our notes, round off, and then we're done. Okay? So just to cover up for the days that we missed on Tuesday due to the power outage. So just 30 minutes of your time on Friday, we just hop in and hop out again. Okay, guys? Is that all right with everybody? Just to cover up for Tuesday. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Ravina. Thank you so much, Ilaikimi, Sangita, Maureen, Karaleni, Senimili, Ashwita, Avi, Kahira, Shelly, and Mary. Avi, Afsa, and Shalashni for your contribution, and Ruby as well.